Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Shalise. If you're new, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank y'all so much for coming back. I do appreciate it. So let's get started. Today is all going to be about 401ks. So go get your statement. Or if you have a 403b or 457, just an employer sponsored account, go get your statements. If you are not at home or at a place where you can grab them, then come back to this video once you're able to grab them. Well, watch the video first and then go get your statements and then come back to the video, and that way you can pause and follow along. But this is something I used to do a long while ago, and I wanted to get back into this because it's so important to understand the importance of our employer sponsored accounts, and go over our statements together, etc. And let me tell you guys, like, though I'm not a financial advisor, I am a regular person who's an investor, right? We've been building up our net worth over the past 11 years, working hard, became first generation millionaires. And just like the regular person next door in terms of wealth building, right? We don't wear our assets. Our assets is in properties and in the stock market and in different entities where it can grow for us. Now don't get me wrong. We still go on vacations. We still do fun things and we still buy things that we like, but it's like prioritizing what's important, right? And we still give and all of that great stuff. But again, the 401k, when I first started learning about investing 11 years ago, this was one of the first accounts I had heard of. Now, when I was younger, I had heard of it in passing. I didn't really know too much about what it was or what it did. I knew that it was like a retirement account through the job. That's was my general kind of knowledge on what a 401k was, and that was pretty much it. And I know like the job sometimes had like people come in to talk to you about retirement, but again, when you're in your 20s, you're not thinking about the future like that. You're thinking about getting paid so that you can go and have a good time, right? And so that was my extent of what a 401k was, but I'm going to share with you our first quarter statement. But before I get to that, I wanted to briefly talk to you about the 401k. And again, our 401k is with Fidelity. A lot of our accounts are with Fidelity. But Fidelity has this great article. Again, it's an 8-minute read. I'll have a link below so that you can go ahead and, get caught up in terms of what it is. But essentially, it's a retirement savings plan, right? If you go down to your job, most jobs have them. Now, in terms of a match, I'm not sure because, again, with the economy, but most jobs have some type of employer sponsored retirement plan. Again, even if it's not a 401k, if it's a 403b, if it's a 457, if it starts with the 4, that's pretty much, something that you can get through your job. And the great thing about it is that the job will invest on your behalf for you. So you don't have to worry about trying to manually buy your own, make your own transfers and buy an ETF or a mutual fund or whatever. There is a fund manager behind your employer sponsored account or your retirement savings plan that would do the work for you. All you got to do is go down to HR or to your admin department and tell them you want to open up the account and how much you want to put in. Okay. Simple as that. And you don't have to max it out. For 2025, I think it's 23,000 or 23,500. Just going off the top of my head, but it's somewhere around there. You don't have to go in trying to max it out right away. We did not do that because we were trying to pay off debt when we first started. And again, we only had but so much money. So trying to max everything out was hard, but we did the best that we could do. And that is the point that I wanted to drive home in this video. If you look right here, over 70 million or approximately 70 million Americans have an 401k, which is pretty cool. And I wanted to come down here because this is pretty interesting. So what is a 401k? It's named for the tax code section that created it, right? So a 401k is an employer-sponsored retirement savings account with special tax benefits, okay? So I love this because usually when you contribute money to your 401k, it lowers your taxable income. So let's say you make $1,000 a month from your job and you put $100 into your 401k. That means the government is only going to tax you on $900 versus that $1,000 that you make. So it lowers your taxable income. So it's like the government is incentivizing you to save for retirement. Is essentially what that is, which is pretty cool. Now, keep in mind, like you'll see this down here, keep in mind that you will have to pay taxes on this when you go to take the money out when you are 59 and a half or older. So if you touch this money before 59 and a half, you will have to pay a penalty, okay? And you will have to pay like an exorbitant amount of taxes. And you don't want to do that, okay? Now, I know you can take loans to get your 401k, which I've heard many people do. We've cashed out one before, so again, I understand. I've been there. But when you know better, right, we do better. But you don't want to do any of those negative things because it'll work against you, okay? So have your emergency fund. It's okay to pause your investing to build up your emergency fund, okay? It's also good if you need to pay off some debt, right? Because, yeah, it's great to invest, but if you're paying 30% interest on a credit card, it's kind of like hustling backwards. So use your tax refund. If you want to get a side hustle, this is my side hustle right here, Mommy Trader. Use that extra money to, put yourself in a better financial position, okay? But you see right here, what is a 401k? So you contribute part of your paycheck into your retirement plan. And usually it's target date funds. Now, I know some people can trade in their 401k and all that, but most of them, it's a target date fund based on the year that they think you're going to retire, and they will have you allocated to like either mostly stocks and a little bit of funds. I'm sorry, mostly stocks and a little bit of bonds. Sometimes it's half and half depending on your age. Again, there's a fund manager behind it that's doing the work for you. Yes, you have to pay an expense ratio, but a lot of funds you have to pay that fee. And it's nice because I really don't do anything with the 401k besides invest. That's it. We don't do anything. We don't trade in it. We don't do any crazy stuff. We just have our contribution set up, and that's it. The great thing about 401k is if you get a match. So let me know down below if you get a match with your 401k. If you do, kudos to you, because it's something I think rare. It's getting rarer nowadays. I'm getting a match. I know we get 5%. I know some of you get like 10 or 20%, which is crazy. If you get 100% match, then wow, you are at a really good place. But any type of match that you get, definitely make sure you take advantage of it because it's free money. Now, yes, there's vesting schedules and there's different company stipulations, but generally speaking, it is free money. So take advantage of the free money, okay? Keep in mind, I did mention that the money you contribute is pre-tax, meaning it'll lower your taxable income. And then also you gotta wait. You gotta wait until you're 59 and a half or older. I'm 40. So that's essentially 20 years. So one reason why I like to have a brokerage account is because I can access that money anytime, right? But with a 401k or an employer sponsored account, I got to wait till I'm pretty much 60 years old. And that's 20 years in the future from now. And again, these accounts are great for long term, but brokerage accounts for my husband and I are great for short term, okay? And down here, I love that it talks about this. In the case of an emergency, you can take a loan from your 401k, and you have to pay it back, and you're like paying that interest back to yourself. But remember, if you withdraw, that is where the 10% penalty on top of the tax will hit. So, just keep that in mind, okay? So I'm going to bring up our tax statement. Again, I just want to quickly go over this. There's a lot more to this. I will have it down below where it's more advantages and disadvantages and RMDs and all of that. I will have a link below, but I just wanted to give you like a quick snapshot of what it was, okay? So coming here, this is our statement. Now, I did have to take out a lot of our personal information because, yeah, it's all here. Let me pause this. Okay, so this is Q1, okay? Now, the bonus we usually get is in Q2, so that's not reflected here. And this number is much higher, but again, don't focus on a number, but focus on looking at your statement, learning how to read it correctly, finding where your contributions were, so you can see this one here was about $4,100, just rounding. Look at the employer contributions. It's over half of what we put in. So this $2,359, all from the job, all free, because we put money in, right? And then look at the fees. Fees is an important part of your retirement accounts. You want to make sure you're looking at closely This is another reason why I like spreadsheets, because I can write and document all of this down in a spreadsheet. If you want spreadsheets, trackers, you want to join our private groups, maybe you want to talk to me one-on-one, information is down below on my website where you can go and explore there. But I love tracking this stuff in a spreadsheet because I want to know how much are we paying in fees. And this is pretty, we have a very, very low fees with our 401k. And so $230 for the first quarter is not bad at all, in my personal opinion. Now, Q1 of 2025 was rough for the markets. I mean, let's be honest here. Yeah, we may be on an uprise now because it's May, but January, February, and March, it was a little rough. So you can see that the terms of the change in market value, about $690. So that means our contributions and the employer match really kind of grew this position, but it wasn't like growth in the market. It was tough. You can see right here, personal rate of return, 0.02%. That was bad. If you come down to asset allocation, again, because this is a target date fund, right now they still have this fund in a lot of stocks, and it's just 10% bonds. Now, let's say if we're 5 years away from, retirement age, of 60 or whatever, you will see more bonds than stocks. But right now, again, they're thinking that's 20 years. We still got 20 years left. So they have us a lot in stocks, which I do agree with. There's a lot of time for growth left for this account. 20 years is a generation. So I'm happy with this. Again, I don't go in this. I don't touch it. I trust the fund manager, and we're just going to keep investing with what we have. If I scroll down a little bit here, you can see that again, between January 1st and March 31st, you can see not only the contributions and the employer contributions, but again, those administrative fees I just showed you, this is this broken down. So the advisor fee was $54.64. I think that's, again, pretty reasonable. Administrative fees, because it costs money to kind of keep the account going, and the app and the website and just all of the things, right? And that was $174.93 for Q1. Again, not bad at all. I'm not mad at it. And I think this is pretty solid for the first quarter. Like I mentioned, Q2, this is much higher. Again, bonus, the market rebounding. But I wanted to show this when the market wasn't doing well, because sometimes you can have periods where the market is just not doing well. And so I wanted just to see how much we were paying in fees. Now, we don't have any dividends paid yet because dividends usually pay at the end of the year in this account. But it's just pretty interesting to look through the statements and really analyze and see how this is performing and all of that good stuff. So that's pretty much the gist of the video. Kind of quick, simple, to the point. Let me know how your 401k or 403b or 457, how that's been performing. Do you have an employer match? Do you not have an employer match? And how long have you been investing in yours? Let me know down below. I love chatting with you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and you subscribe. Tickle that notification bell so that you don't miss an upload every time I post a video. And until next time, you already know, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.